Hey everyone, welcome to our 2-month baby update. Can you say hi? I guess it's only been a month since I've done his 1-month update, but oh my gosh, I feel like so much has changed and he is just everything is different now. Like, I feel like this is gonna be a really long video because I have so many updates and things to talk about. So I'm gonna try and keep him on my lap the whole time. We'll see how he does. So first thing is I'll talk about his sleeping patterns. So he started sleeping in his crib, not throughout the night, but just for napping and stuff. I definitely want to make him familiar with his crib so that he's not sleeping with us for too long and being like 3 years old and needing to sleep with us still. So I put him in his crib every morning for about a 2-hour nap, and then during the night I will put him in his crib. Sometimes if I decide to put him down at like 8 p.m. and we're still eating dinner or something, I'll put him in his crib and then I'll just come and get him either right before we go to sleep or for like his first nighttime feeding. And then also sometimes throughout the night as he's in our bassinet, if he's fussy after a feeding, I will just go and put him in his crib so that we can get a little bit of sleep. We use the baby monitor so I can still hear him and everything. You're just bobbling around. And so I can still hear him, but a lot of times he'll sleep better in his crib. I think he can kind of soothe himself to sleep versus when he's right next to me in his bassinet. I feel like I'm constantly trying to put the pacifier in his mouth and try to help him go back to sleep. So sometimes he'll just go straight into his crib. But I know that I could put him in his crib for the whole night and he would do just fine. I just don't feel comfortable yet. I just like to check and make sure that he is still breathing and on his back and everything. So for now, at 2 months old, I still like to keep him in the bassinet. And our night routine, I'm trying to establish a night routine. I'm just the worst at a schedule, which is so crazy because I'm such a scheduled person. I always make lists and I always have plans and stuff. But as far as keeping him on a schedule, I like to do it. It's not the same time all the time. So I'm trying to establish a little bit of a nighttime routine. I try to sing to him and put on a bedtime lotion that I have. It's a lavender scented lotion so that maybe he will associate that scent with going to sleep, and doing those things to kind of start establishing a nighttime routine for him so that he knows when it's bedtime. And how he's doing during the night. So I'm trying to drop his feeding in the middle of the night. So what we have been doing for quite a while now is he goes to bed around, his last feeding is anywhere from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. And then he will wake up again around 2 a.m. and I feed him, and then he wakes up again around 5 a.m., 5 or 6 a.m. and I feed him. So and then he wakes up for the day around 7 or 8 a.m. So I've been trying to knock out that 2 a.m. feeding, and I've actually gotten really good at it. I started doing it once he turned 8 weeks old. So it's been about a week now that I've been trying to get rid of that feeding. And I'd say in the past week, I've only had to feed him maybe twice at that time. Otherwise, I can get him, I can feed him at anywhere from 8 to 10 p.m. and he'll sleep until 5 or 6 a.m., which is really great, knocking out that middle of the night feeding because it just helps me sleep longer. I do still think the 5, 6 a.m. feeding is still considered a nighttime feeding to me because I don't wake up that early. So I still go back to bed until between 7 or 9 a.m. is when we usually wake up. So it's still he still kind of has a nighttime feeding, but I'd rather just take that than have 2. So what I've noticed has really helped, we have this sleep suit. It's this, oh, let me zip it up so you can see it. I think I showed this in a video when I was pregnant when I got it. It was a random gift. It's called Baby Merlin's Magic Sleep Suit. You can find it on Amazon. Looks like this. I was really hesitant to put him in it since it's so thick and fat, but I just put him in his diaper so that he has nothing else on underneath it. And the very first time that I did it, did you? I guess you didn't. He feels a little damp. The very first time that I did it, he slept for 8 hours. So I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is magic. And then the next couple times, he was back on his regular routine of 2 wake-ups during the night. So it's not necessarily like completely magic, but I do still like it. He's gotten a couple 8-hour stretches in that, and then I've also swaddled him the same way I always have in his Swaddle Me swaddles, and gotten some 8-hour stretches with those. So the 8-hour stretches are amazing. I love it. And last night I fed him at 9 p.m. He did wake up at 2 a.m., but I just kind of soothed him a little bit, and he ended up falling back asleep on his own. And I kind of didn't even realize it because I woke up at 5 and I was like, I guess I didn't feed him at 2. I kind of couldn't even remember because you're just so out of it in the middle of the night like that. But I realized that I hadn't fed him at 2, so we both must have just fallen back asleep. And same thing in the mornings. Like this morning, he tried to wake up at 7 a.m. and I was like, no, I need more sleep. So I just kind of like put his passy in and just don't wake him up and just try to fall back asleep. So I'm basically forcing him to sleep in with me. And he did. Then we woke up at 9. So sometimes even if they like are fussing or whatever, it's like if you just kind of get through it and don't wake them up to feed them, they might actually just continue to sleep. And then another big thing at night is the diaper changing. So in the beginning, I was waking him up, changing his diaper, feeding him. And you should do that with a newborn for sure, because they need to make sure that they're getting all that they need. But now that he's older and he can go, 8 hours just fine, he doesn't actually need the food anymore. He's just used to waking up at those times to eat is what's happening. So in order to help him sleep, if he does wake up at 2 a.m., I don't change his diaper. I change it at his last feeding, and then I change it in the morning. But if he wakes up throughout the night at 2 or 5, I don't change his diaper anymore, because that really wakes the baby up by changing their diaper. So I just pull him out of the bassinet. He's still swaddled, and I just start feeding him with the lights out and everything. And I think that helps a lot. And then this is kind of gross, but we are going to talk about his pooping and his toots. So he was pooping like 5 times a day, and then this weekend we were out of town, and he started pooping like once a day. So I saw the pediatrician yesterday for his 2-month appointment, and she said that was normal, and he might even go a day or so without pooping, and his poops are just going to start to slow down. So that's kind of nice, and he hasn't gone poop for like a day and a half now. So hopefully he'll have one soon. I mean, I'm not complaining. It's nice to not have to clean all of that up, but I just don't want him to be like constipated or anything. They said as long as they're not like hard stools once they do come out, then everything's good. And then also with his tooting, like I felt like they didn't smell or anything when he was little. Now they're starting to smell like real people toots, and I don't like that. But I think, again, I read that that's normal, and especially if he hasn't pooped for a day or so, like then they kind of smell more. And then something about like if they're swallowing a lot of air and stuff, then their toots don't smell. But if it's a toot from, let's see how many times I can say the word toot in this stupid video. If they are eating like lots of protein, vegetables and stuff, sometimes that can make a smell. So it's just weird, because I'm like, why are your farts starting to smell? Breastfeeding has been going great. I don't use the app anymore that I was using, and I also don't use it to track his poops. The only thing I use that app for now that I'm in the routine of things is for pumping, just because I like to kind of see how much I'm pumping throughout the weeks. Yeah. And he's still eating about 10 to 15 minutes. I started to get worried about it last night. I was doing some research, and like, oh, if your baby's not eating that long, they're not getting the hind milk, they're only getting the fore milk. But that's not true. I think every everybody's different, and you might just have a really quick letdown. And I think he's definitely getting both types of milk because he's growing adequately for his age. So I'm not really worried about it, but he still is only on, you know, 15 minutes tops as far as feeding goes, but usually it's more like 10 minutes, like 5 minutes each side, and he's done. So that's really great, I think. And then we have been bottle feeding a little bit as well. And I bottle feed, or my husband will bottle feed him when I'm like running to the store, or if I've gone out with friends before and he's fed him. And then we've also had him babysat a couple times now by my parents. So my parents have babysat him, so we've done bottles, and I just kind of want him to get used to bottles for babysitting reasons. And he takes the bottle so slowly. And I think it's because he's used to like my letdown, and he drinks really fast. And the bottle size, like the nipples that we've been using, are Dr. Brown's stage 1. So I'm thinking he could probably do stage 2 or 3 since he's used to like the faster letdown with my milk. So we'll kind of play around with that. But he did really, really well with bottles this weekend when we had like my family watching him. But it's just, I can tell he definitely prefers to just breastfeed. Especially, I've given him a bottle before and he's just like, what the heck, Mom? Why am I getting the bottle? So, you know, he's figuring it out, but he likes to breastfeed better. I have a huge stash of milk. I pump, like, I think I've said this before, I pump maybe 2 or 3 times in the morning. And so I've just been producing a whole lot of milk and freezing it. And for the weekend, I packed 12 bags of milk because I knew we were gonna have my family babysitting and my husband's family babysitting. And I ended up leaving all the milk there because when I was getting ready to pack, I realized I had 18 bags to take home because I had pumped while I was there. So we have so much milk, which is amazing. I'm so happy. So I definitely want to make sure he gets used to bottles so that I can give him all that milk. And then he did go through like the normal baby newborn stages of cradle cap, baby acne, and hair loss. Those are just some of the things that I noticed that he had. None of it was bad. The baby acne would kind of come and go. He never had any like red or anything, just like little bumps. And then as far as his hair kind of, I guess it fell out, or I don't know, but he lost all of his hair kind of on the main part of his head and just had the bottom left. And now it's starting to grow back in. And then the cradle cap, he just had that maybe for like 2 days and it went away. I noticed things like when he's sleeping in my arms, he sleeps so much better when he's in a swing or a crib versus sleeping in someone's arms. And especially in my arms, it's like when I'm holding him, I think he smells my milk and he wants to eat, because it's like I'll hand him off to someone else and he's totally fine, and then I'll get him back and then he starts rooting. So I try to make sure when he's napping that he's napping in his crib or his swing. And I do love though to just cuddle him and let him fall asleep in my arms. So we still do it, especially in the evening when he's fussy. It's really nice for him to, oh, are you drooling? To just kind of fall asleep in my arms. He's been like cooing a lot. He loves to smile. He's smiling so much. And I think he knows the word smile. Like, Cal, do you want to smile? Can you smile? Are you gonna be mad? Oh, can you smile? He's like, why am I sitting here for so long? Let's do something, Mom. Okay, I don't think I can get him to smile right now. He really does seem to smile on command. He's been drooling a lot lately, which I think is a sign of teething. So I just ordered these little dandelion organic baby bibs. He's pulling my hair. But these are really cool. So they're just like these little like scarf shaped bibs. They're really cute. and they're very, very soft on the inside, and they're supposed to be like really absorbent. So I got like a little 6-pack. They're all monochrome colors, and those will just kind of help because I guess I have to talk like this. He's literally pulling my head down. They just will help because I notice if he drools so much, he kind of ruins his outfit because it'll be wet by the end of the day. So those bibs will come in handy to then I can just replace the bib instead of having to change his whole outfit. He does get fussy. The doctor said he most likely has colic, but it should go away by 3 months. So around 5 p.m. he just starts getting really, really fussy, and it's really hard to console him. I'll try feeding him and he'll pull off and scream, and I thought that was something wrong with my milk, but it's just he's not actually hungry. He's just fussy and he doesn't need to eat. That's why he's screaming when he's eating, and it's been frustrating, but we've managed. When my husband gets home, I hand him off to him, and then he can usually soothe him for a little bit. I did try the Gerber Soothe because I heard a lot of great things about that. I've tried it twice now and noticed absolutely no difference. If anything, I feel like he's been more fussy after giving him that. So that doesn't work at all. Things that I noticed that work are just getting up and walking around with him, bouncing him on my knees. I flip him over on his tummy and pat his butt. That one really works well. So just different maneuvers to kind of keep him happy during the evening. His toys, he's starting to play with toys. So I got this box, or I think it's like a drum. It looks like this. It's from Target. And inside it has a bunch of toys. This was actually a gift from a relative, and he really, really loves it. It's got like little, what is that? Like, cause this has high contrast so he can see that, and it's got little like blocks and just things like that. He's starting to realize our toys, and he can see them and play with them. So it's really exciting and fun to watch him start following things with his eyes and noticing stuff. And as far as his clothing, what's your clothing situation? He's still in size 1 diaper. I'm ready to put him in size 2 as soon as we run out of size 1. He's been in size 0 to 3 month clothing for a while. He does still fit in some of his newborn. The pants he's wearing right now are newborn. Just the thing I've noticed with the newborn pants, they kind of turn into capris. They're long when he's like laying flat, but as he's moving his legs around and stuff, they start sliding up, and the onesies will start like pulling down really low on his neck. So anything like that, I've started to pack up. He's gonna go to sleep now. Started to pack up, and 0 to 3 is like the perfect size for him right now at 2 months old. And he has also, I've noticed some, I guess, 3 to 6 month that fits him. So I've just kind of gone through his 3 to 6 month stash and found, like, eyeballed things and been like, okay, that looks like it'll fit him now. And I'm just gonna keep on doing it that way, because some of the stuff, it's like you never know if it's gonna fit or not based on what size it technically says, because I think every brand does the sizes differently. We went on our first road trip this past weekend, like I said, to visit family, and that was great. I actually drove down by myself. My husband came later, and he did wonderful. It's about a 3 to 4 hour trip. So I fed him right before I left, put him in his car seat, and made it the entire way without having to stop and feed him, which was awesome. He's been going for 3 to 4 hour stretches eating during the day, depending. I try to do every 3, but if we're out, I can hold off till 4 hours for sure. So that was great. I'm so happy that he was able to travel easily. The only thing was that I had to pee so bad, and I was not gonna stop because I didn't want to have to take him into a gas station or take him into, like, I just didn't want to have to deal with it. And then if I stopped, then he would wake up and need to eat. So I just held it the whole way, and he did really, really great. And then he had his doctor's appointment yesterday. He got his shots. He did awesome with his shots. She did all of his stats and everything. She measured him and everything. He was in the 50th percentile for all three, height, weight, and head. So he's just right in the middle, smack dab average, which is great. He's healthy, and he weighs 11 pounds and 10 ounces, and he's 22.5 inches long. And I think that that's it. I feel like that was like a ton of information at once, but I think that that's all of the updates with him for 2 months, and I will be back with a 3-month update once we get there. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.